Good morning, everybody. We finally made it to Friday. My goodness, I didn't think we would make it here. I didn't have electricity for several hours last night. That was a little spooky, especially when you have a cat that will remain nameless, rhymes with TJ. That's scared of storms. I don't know if they make thunder shirts for cats, but yeah. OJ wasn't having it. He used to hide behind the bathroom door, sometimes would get into the closet, but he figured out if he's under the bed, I will still slip him snacks. He's got that much figured out. Let's see who's in here. I saw Slim. Hey, Deanie, what's up? Oksana Bonita, hello. What's going on, Kamari? I saw Kat was in here. I was giving Kat hell, OJ, not OJ, my cat, Kat, my friend, in Discord yesterday. She was ready to go to bed, and I was bugging her to keep her awake. She would rather go to sleep than hear me complain about goofy Andrew Hiltz trying to be relevant again, but that's what happens. Hello, Lone Star Mama. Hello, Sparrow. Skittles made it in. Bowling with Cotton Balls, one of the coolest names I've ever heard. Nani made it in. Slim's getting a new roof. Rowena's really sick, so I don't know if she'll be in or not. I'm worried about Rowena. Hey, Cassie, what's up? Jules got hit in the head yesterday, so I don't know what's going on with her. Hopefully she goes to the doctor. So if they pop into chat, if not, we'll just have to figure it out in Discord. Hello, Aaron. What's up? Rowena's in here. Okay, good. Rowena made it in. Thank goodness. And Kat's awake. So right now, we're doing okay. We just have to find Jules. What's up, Bob? Hey, Ryan. Hey, Ryan, I just saw your shirt in Discord yesterday. You look like a model. That color is perfect on you. All right, so I have to say, yesterday on the community tab, I put a poll up, like, what are you the most interested in following? And I put the Leticia trial, Goofy Sarah's trial, what's going on that just came up this week with Stephen Smith. We're going to talk about that today, and a couple of other things. But I didn't put in my paragraph before that we're still definitely covering all the missing. Don't get me wrong. That's always on the front burner. And the one that I cannot get out of my brain is Scotty Morris of Eaton, Indiana. This boy, this is driving me insane. I am so upset about this situation, and I'm over the shirt. Okay, I'm over the shirt. Some people are getting real pissed at me for putting the picture of him with the shirt up. One lady came after me and she's like, why are you further humiliating him? I'm not. You can't unring a bell. There's 186 people in here. I hope everybody understands. I'm not trying to humiliate him. It's not even about the shirt for me. It's the look in his eyes. His lip looks swollen to me. He's crying. He's visibly upset. This picture is in Newsweek. This picture is in the New York Post. It's circulated everywhere. I can't unring the bell. And this is the shirt that his mom or dad or both, they could have both been standing there, gave to the authorities. Now, I've got other issues with the situation with Scotty. Right here on the screen, this is the state versus Felicia Polly. Some people say this is not a big deal because it was from years ago. This is from 2007. Neglect of a dependent. Neglect of a dependent. Neglect of a dependent. How much time has to go by until something's not a big deal? You think I'm going to forget that Candace Wells abused 2 children in Wisconsin? They were taken by the state. She went and joined the carnival and met Don, and now it's not a big deal because she had children with another man? No, no. And don't get me wrong, there's many other pictures of Scotty where he's smiling. He's definitely well dressed. He looks very happy, but this is the picture that they gave to authorities. This is the picture. I don't see any other pictures of him wearing this shirt. So why did they give that picture to them? I don't know. I don't get it. I've got a lot of questions though, man. Okay, for one, overnight, social media broke loose and said that a body had been found in Eaton, Indiana. Now, a local journalist reached out and did what she should do, and she released this statement. She said, many people have asked if an adult male was found deceased or hurt in or near Eaton, Indiana today. Law enforcement has confirmed absolutely no one was found deceased today, and that was just an online rumor. Eaton Police Department is working with many agencies now. If you know any factual leads about Scotty or his whereabouts, please call Eaton, Indiana Police Department. The deputy chief said he just wants to find Scotty, so he's willing to do whatever it takes. I bet this is taking a heavy toll. I will never know what possesses people to make that crap up. I will never get it. That, to me, is the biggest problem with the Summer Wells case. People would rather chase the rumors than look at the facts. I mean, we have Andrew Hiltz trying to be relevant again, and people are like, you need to listen to what Andrew has to say. He's got a lot of points. He has no points. He's making stuff up. Or I think Jody Sue's about to spill it any minute. Here comes Jody Sue. I'm good. No, I'm good. We had all the shit with Billy Joe in the Quentin Simon case. Brooks, do your research. Didn't you hear what Billy said? She took Leilani for Chinese food before she took her to the FBI. Didn't happen. Think I'm really gonna believe that Billy took Leilani to the China King for an egg roll before taking her to the FBI? Gotta be kidding me. Lone Wolf, Santa Claus made it. It's raining memberships. So it didn't even take a week and people are already making stuff up. This is a new t-shirt. Mermaid said only thing Jody Sue is spilling is her ashtray. You got that right. Sluggy Sleuth. I love me some Sluggy. So here, it hasn't even been a week and we're already making up crazy stuff. I can't figure it out. But anyway, my biggest problem, besides the fact that Scotty is missing, I'm not ignoring the t-shirt, and I'm certainly not ignoring the look on his face, is this damn ring cam. Now, I understand it's not on the internet. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just because something is not on the internet doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I didn't realize until recently that some people think things don't exist unless they're on the internet. But anyway, so this ring cam footage I'm pretty hung up on right now. Not because I haven't seen it, but because Eaton Police Department, they're addressing things on their Facebook page. They have never said that this ring cam footage exists. I don't have to see it. I will take their word for it. We also have conflicting statements with the media. Here is one media outlet that says, according to Eaton PD, Scotty was caught in a neighbor's doorbell camera around 8:30 p.m. on the day he vanished. Vanished is the word. The footage has not been released to the public. I got that. I don't need to see it. Okay, so they say this came from Eaton PD. Again, this is not, unless something has changed since I got up this morning, nothing is on their Facebook page saying this exists. We had a very nice lady on a couple of days ago. She was one of the searchers. And she said that she heard it was the family's ring camera. Okay, so we get to that. Another media outlet. Video from his family's home security camera shows Morris walking away from his house. All right, it goes on to say 8:30. What is it? These are journalists. They know how to phrase things. Was he caught on ring camera at his family's house and at the same time at his neighbor's house? Well, then that would be a certain phrasing. Scotty was seen at 8:30 on his family security camera leaving the home, and also caught by a neighbor's camera. I'm not seeing that. So what is it? As of right now, I don't think it exists. His aunt said they have the coverage. I really wish the police would clear this up, because there is a huge, see, right now what we're looking at, his parents called 911 at 8:45. So if he was seen on ring camera at 8:30, we're looking at a 15-minute time gap. 15 minutes is nothing. 15 minutes is nothing, okay? And we already know what people are speculating online. They're looking at the big M. That's what they're speculating about. Somebody in that house M'd him. Murdered. That's what they're thinking. Would be kind of tough to do with all the siblings and everything, but that's what they're saying. 15 minutes, even if his dad is Batman and his mom is Wonder Woman, would never happen. 15 minutes? No way. No, 15 minutes is nothing. So I hope this ring camera is addressed soon. I really do. I hope it is cleared up by law enforcement. Now, there was a vigil last night. It was said that his parents were not there. I was watching it. I didn't see them. I wouldn't really recognize them, to be quite honest. I've just seen them. I saw her at the press conference. It's not really a press conference because you couldn't ask her questions at her statement. I've seen pictures of the dad. The only way that I would recognize them is if one had a shirt on that said ass and the other one had a shirt on that said hole. Okay, that's the only way I would know that his parents were there. But according to the people that were there, the parents didn't show up. I'm really not surprised. I'm really not. Just because they have gotten so much hate. And it could be dangerous for them. It could be dangerous for them. People are freaking crazy. Hell, we just had someone make up a story that there was a dead body, that they heard it on their scanner, and that the parents were on the way out there to identify the body. This is how twisted people are. So it's really not out of the realm of possibility that they said, no, we'll have our own vigil here at home. People are crazy. People are crazy. Now, that being said, they're allowing their daughter to speak out on social media. Yeah, already we have an issue because I'm not big on the shirt, the very, very demeaning shirt that they took a picture of him in and gave to the police. That is so weird. Nobody would know about that damn shirt unless they didn't hand it over. Nobody would know. He had no way of calling anyone because they took his phone from him months ago. But his sister on TikTok, and y'all know how I'm with that damn TikTok, she's addressing the public. I hate when kids are in adult spaces. I hate it. Grandma Bunny said, "Oh, she has a phone and a tablet, but they took his away." Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Where Summer said, "Where is that shirt now?" Supposedly he left the house in it. Now, could you imagine if he supposedly was planning on getting the hell out of Dodge and going over to a friend's house for a cooling off period? Would he have worn that shirt or would he have changed? I don't know, Scotty. I don't know. So the sister, and I'm not going to put it on the screen. It's not too hard to find her TikTok, so it is what it is. She says on TikTok, "My mother is not fake. She wants her son back, and we did not let him leave. He left when he was told not to and that cops would be called." Okay. She puts herself in it like she's a parent. Again, I hate when kids are in adult spaces, and I hate when adults allow it. They took Scotty's phone. Take hers. This is not good. Take her phone. You took his. We know you know how to punish your children. A lady replied to her and said, "Any hate being directed at your family has to do with your parents and not you. See again, we're addressing a child." She says, "None of us are treated differently and he wasn't being abused." Hang on now. You have access to the internet. You have a phone. You have a tablet. You're not in a t-shirt right now that says I shouldn't be fighting with adults on the web. So you are treated differently. Come on. Come on. Now let's just try to put ourselves in this position and we have a missing child. And everybody in our small community is looking at us thinking that we have something nefarious to do with the disappearance of our own child. It's hard to imagine, but let's just try. Would we let another child in the house? Child, get on the tablet, get on the phone, and address the community that already hates our asses. I wouldn't. Trinity said the mother being charged for child neglect is not a good sign. I don't think so either. That's kind of one of those things, especially since it was founded and it was a Class D felony. You just don't bounce back from that. But you know, the geniuses on the internet will tell you that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. C Star, thank you, said evil parents turn their kids against each other. I'm suspicious. I'm more suspicious now that the sister's speaking out. It's fishy. It's weird. And the way she puts herself as part of the parental unit, we told him not to leave, or we would call the cops. Anytime my children tried to high step and be part of the parental unit, I'd be like, what? No, unless you're going to pay the bills. And you know I have to be at work at 7:15 tomorrow morning. I'll be you, you be me, but that's the only way it's going to happen. Ooh, Leo. Leo said, it's like they're ganging up on him. Before we get to the mom's press statement, that's all I can call it because nobody could ask her a question. Today is our friend Eve's birthday. She is 71 years young today. That's what she said. She doesn't look a day over 40, but let's tell her happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, Eve. Happy birthday. So where are we at on Scotty? What are we thinking? If the aunt says the ring cam exists, then has she seen it or is she being told? This is not our first rodeo around here. This is probably our 1 millionth case, it feels like. We know. We've been to the circus before. We've seen all the tricks. If the police can't acknowledge it, there's a reason. Journey to Justice says, question, Lori, why did you have all the kids' money and cash if your kid's alive? You didn't call them because you had Tylee's phone and tablet. Well, there's that too. Lori Vallow is a very nasty person. Matter of fact, before I get to the, I guess, press statement, I'll put up Lori's mugshot. That's her latest and greatest. Let me tell you what, Lori Vallow looks like a totally different person without the fillers, the Botox, the actual makeup that didn't come from the jail. She looks like a totally different person. God, she looks disgusting. She looks scary, man. Her evil is showing. So yeah, there's that too. There is that too. I wouldn't be so hung up on, with Scotty, I wouldn't be so hung up on the ring cam if the police would come out and say, we have evidence of the ring cam. It was from 8:30. But we have conflicting statements in the media. An aunt who's saying, oh, it's real. But it's not. I can't take the aunt's word. No offense, aunt. No offense, aunt. But we need something from the police. Because right now, if it exists, we have a 15-minute gap, which is not a big deal. I don't know why it took 15 minutes from when he stormed out at 8:30, unless they were out on the porch for 15 minutes screaming, you better get back in the house or I'm going to put some more wording on that t-shirt. Did anybody see Felicia, or I think his name is Brian, the dad? Did anybody see them chasing after him? Or God forbid, the sister? I could just imagine. I don't know. It's just making me more sick every day. They have searched everything in that town. Everything. And we have crazy rumors. People are saying, well, if the police were more transparent, there wouldn't be these rumors. No, the rumors would be worse. The rumors would be worse. Could you imagine if December 1st, the police in Moscow, Idaho, had it with people saying they weren't doing their job? They were sick of being called corrupt. They were sick of being called lazy. They were sick of it. And they just said, hey, look, everybody, we're looking into a guy who's a PhD student at a neighboring school. We'll let you know when we know. They would have gone crazy. Anybody in any PhD program anywhere around Idaho would have been the suspect. They wouldn't have left it at that. No way. No friggin' way. The police know a lot in this because they've been real quiet the last few days. Real quiet. Cassie said, I'm just not sure how he would contact a friend to stay with if he didn't have a phone or tablet. It doesn't make sense to me either, Cassie. At all. I just keep thinking that maybe he knew of a friend that was going away for the week for spring break, and he's been in their house, playing on the internet, playing some video games, eating their food, sleeping in a bed. I mean, that's what I'm hoping. And that they are going to come home over the weekend. Kids aren't going to watch the news. That they're going to come home over this weekend and be like, Scotty, what are you doing here? And then can go from there. It doesn't look like it's going to go that way. I really hope that's the case. Let's look at the interview to which, with the exception of a couple of family members, nobody's too impressed with. I can't call it an interview. It's just a statement. It wasn't opened up for questions or anything like that. She just made a statement.
Delaware County boy, the 14-year-old, has been missing since Thursday. Right now, the mother of the teen is giving us a statement about his disappearance outside of the Eaton Police Department. Our Rich Nye is there live right now with an update on the search.
Yeah, Matthew, we're in Eaton, Indiana. This is just north of Muncie. The search continues for 14-year-old Scotty Morris, missing since 8:30 on Thursday night when he left his home. I'm going to introduce the police chief here, Jay Turner, who's also going to introduce the mother.
Thank you very much. This is Felicia Morris. She is Scotty Morris's mother. We've been working with Felicia for the last 3 days, and she's been very cooperative with our investigation. We had decided that she wanted to talk to Scotty personally, so that's why we're here.
Do I hold that?
No, you're okay. Go ahead.
Scott, I love you. And I want you to come home. And I know that you're mad and confused. And I'm afraid that you're scared of all of this. Everyone is out looking for you. And we're not trying to scare you. You're not in trouble. Okay? If you're in a house and they come to you and you don't want to go out because it's the cops, reach out. Me and Dad will come get you, okay? I love you and I just want you to come home. I need you to know that you're safe. Please just call 911. Tell anyone. I need you home. I just need you home, okay? And I love you so much, okay?
Thank you. That is Felicia Morris, the mother of Scotty Morris, who has been missing since 8:30 on Thursday night when he left his house. Now, the concern is that Scotty was just wearing a white T-shirt and black and red shorts.
Okay, so let's talk about what he had on. We know he had on the shirt. Oksana said she's forcing herself to sound and look upset, but no tears, and the language she uses. Yeah. You're not really going to find anybody that's very impressed with this performance at all. Tammy said that's the strangest plea from a mother I've ever heard. When she looks over at the officer, chief, sheriff, whatever he is, and she's just kind of like, is that okay? Did I do okay? And walks away. I'm like, what? The hell is Slim saying? Slim said, was she wanting to hold the mic like it's karaoke night? I was like, I know, me too. Somebody belt out, can you do Whitney Houston? When I do karaoke, I always sing Delta Dawn. Can you give me a Delta Dawn? So we go to what he has on. Shorts and a t-shirt. All right, looked on AccuWeather because I was doing a deep dive. Here's the weather. On the 16th, it was a low of 39. He could survive that if he's out in the woods. The 17th, 29 degrees. That would be rough. Saturday night, 18 degrees overnight. Nope. Sunday night, 16 degrees. Yep. Monday night, 26 degrees. Tuesday night, 34 degrees overnight. Wednesday night, 42 degrees overnight. Last night, 45 degrees overnight. Warmer last night. Today in Eaton, Indiana, according to AccuWeather, this is my deep dive, it's going to be raining all day. If he is not in a house somewhere, he wouldn't be in good shape. All I have heard about the polygraphs, and you guys know how I'm about polygraphs, all I have heard is that the parents have taken polygraphs and that they're investigating, and that's pretty much the sum of it. Oksana said Eaton is in a flood watch today. See, so AccuWeather and my deep dive panned out. Oh, see, she's right there. She's right there. All right, but I just don't know what to make out of this. I don't. They said that the backpack was left behind. So if there was so he's got to be eating, he's got to be drinking. Grandma Bunny thinks he's either in Chicago or Indianapolis. He has not been outside this whole time, and they've turned the town upside down. That is for sure. That's a good way to segue into our next subject to wrap up the week. Leticia, the nastiest person in a case I've just about ever come across. It's really hard. She definitely has made the Hall of Fame. Let me put it that way. Leticia is definitely up there. You can never say any of them are the worst, because the minute you do, someone says, hold my beer. All right, the last week, Leticia's jury selection has started, and a lot of people have been listening on WebEx. Different channels have actually been streaming at the jury selection. I'm not doing the jury selection because the jury selection, seriously, it's hard to find a jury. It could take the whole summer. I don't know how many of you have ever gotten a jury summons, but the minute you get one, you go, great, great. This is what I get for having a driver's license, not being a felon and a registered voter. Wonderful, wonderful. This is what I get for being what they consider an upstanding citizen. I have to go to this. So anyway, when they were doing the jury selection, and they don't just call 12 people, they call like 100 or 2. And just because you're called doesn't mean that they're going to keep you. I mean, if you're like, look, I get that you cool cats are paying $12 a day, but I can't afford that. And they're going to flat out say, okay, well, we can't afford to pay you more, but all right, can't afford it. Or my dad's on hospice care, so if something happens, I won't be able to complete the trial. Some people just psychologically can't do it. This would be a good one. It came out when they were talking to the potential jurors that not only was Gannon shot, stabbed 18 times, beaten. Of course, we know he was put in a suitcase, thrown out for the Gators in Florida. He was also burnt. Gotta be kidding me. What did she not do to that boy? What did she not do to Gannon? There is no way he could have tripped her wire that bad. What the hell? Only thing I can think of with the burning is that it stems from the candle video the night before. And she's like, Gannon, Gannon, you pinky swear you didn't do this on purpose. Gannon, Gannon. And he's crying. And she kept saying that we're going to sell the couch because this lady's going to make us mad. It's going to kick us out. We have to replace the carpet. We have to do this. We have to do that. Maybe she threw the candle at him and it burned him. I don't know. He mentioned bleeding. I almost wonder if the candle didn't break and he stepped on it. I don't know. Or she whopped him with the candle. I don't know. I couldn't imagine being on that jury. And I tell you what, it would be hard enough to sit in judgment of another person, because anyone who's been on a jury will tell you it's not like us sitting at home watching it on TV. It's not like that. It's a different vibe when you're in the courtroom. It's a totally different vibe. And you don't really want to move a muscle. You know, you got a judge there watching you. You just don't really want to make any wrong moves. She is a monster. She is an absolute monster. And I still do not believe by any stretch of the by any stretch of the imagination that Sunday night before the Monday that she shot him, stabbed him, beat him, put him in a suitcase. I do not believe for a minute that Sunday night was the first taste of abuse he had gotten from that piece of shit. No way. So let's look at this, and then we're going to move on to another piece of shit. Then I'm going to go back to Scotty, because I tell you what, I'm so upset about this.
The long wait for a jury trial is over. Leticia Stauch, the El Paso County woman accused of killing her own 11-year-old stepson, is now on trial for murder.
Investigative reporter Dan Beatty was the only TV news reporter in the courtroom for the first day of jury selection. He's live outside the El Paso County Courthouse tonight. Dan?
When the day started, Leticia Stauch didn't look like she was on trial for first-degree murder. She was smiling as she was speaking with one of her defense attorneys.
She was smiling. She was, trying to woo the jury over. She was given a choice to wear civilian clothes or her sexy prison garb. She wore the orange jumpsuit. Is she still trying to look crazy? Hey, I get it. She's crazy. She's crazy. She's crazy. There's not a mentally fit person in prison, okay? But she knew what she was doing.
But as the day went on and jury selection began, Leticia's demeanor certainly changed in the courtroom. Stauch looked straight ahead and down at her notepad, taking notes for most of the day. She never made eye contact with any of the potential jurors as far as I could see. The stepmom is accused of killing 11-year-old Gannon back in January of 2020 while his father was away for work. Prosecutors claim Stauch drove across the country to Florida and dumped his body over a bridge. The stepmom pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. The jury selection process could take weeks to complete. El Paso County District Court Judge Gregory Werner said the state probably won't start calling witnesses until April 3rd. The trial altogether could last until mid or late May. Some people that were called for jury duty said they believe a guilty by insanity plea is simply a poor excuse, while others felt their bias could be compromised, considering the fact that they've seen previous media coverage of this trial. They started the day with around 70 potential jurors. They finished the day with 20. The process continues tomorrow with a new jury pool. Reporting live outside of the El Paso County Courthouse, Dan Beatty, 13 Investigate.
This could go on a long time. A long time. I have faith in the system. And I don't think that there's people out there that have been hanging on every news release. Some people mind their own business. Some people can't process what she did. Some people have other stuff going on in their lives. They can't commit 6 weeks. So they're going to have a hard time finding a jury. And man, when that came out that she burned him too, I just still don't see how, and this doesn't win me points with anybody when I say it, but I just can't get it out of my mind. I don't see how the hell Al, his dad, didn't realize that Leticia was harder on Gannon, didn't have any sort of bond with Gannon, was really picking on Gannon. Is she that much of a psychopath that she could hide it that well and only unleashed when he was out of the house? I'll never understand it. I'll never. Joy Jones said, I just got a call from Publishers Clearinghouse for $3.8 million. I was like, shut the front door, scammer. You know what? I keep getting in my Facebook Messenger people saying, have you heard the good news? And it's about some settlement. Or they're like, I'm feeling generous today. What's your Cash App? And I'm going to Cash App you $1,500. I'm going to Cash App you $3,000. And I'm like, what? What kind of scam is this? It always starts with that. I'm feeling generous. Yeah. I'm like, they're like, what's your Cash App? Send it to me. I'm like, what's yours? Anymore, the minute they start with, have you heard the good news? Block, block, block. All right, someone else I would like to block, but it's going to be a while till we can block her. Leilani Simon. I have not gotten that name out of my head ever since Kat called her Leilani. I was calling her Leilani, but Leilani is much better. The only thing she has ever done is laid on her back. She is so nasty. She is so nasty. So she was in court yesterday. Unlike Leticia, she wore civilian clothing. I don't know who got her this getup. Now, earlier in the week, her defense team filed a motion to have basically all of her charges thrown out. It's quite a tactic. They do it in pretty much every trial. And they said it's because there's not enough detail in the indictment. Not enough detail in the probable cause. Oh, don't worry, they're going to get to some detail. And I have a feeling when we watch this trial, and we're going to get to, the judge wants full transparency. We're going to see the trial. There's going to be a lot of detail. A lot. A lot. I love this judge, by the way. When she came out, I posted it on the channel. She looked right at her like, you just know what's going through her head. She's read everything. Everything. She knows what she did. And they said that they want her released on bond so she can reconnect with her children. Never going to happen. And that they have a safety coordinator. And they're going to put her in drug rehab. Can you believe that? The judge is looking right at her like, really? Really? I understand giving everybody a good defense, but this is comical. She's like, oh no, I believe she'll commit another felony when she's out, particularly if she's around her own children. And they said, well, because of online targeting and social media, we'll have to keep her safe. Are you kidding me? She was drinking it up with her mama in the house with people just outside screaming at her. She went to Tybee Island and tied one on. Nobody bothered her there. And like I said in the video yesterday, I said, people get real irritated when your whole town is turned upside down because they're looking for a little boy that you put in a dumpster. She put her baby, after beating him to death, she put him in a dumpster. And really? They're whining about social media and a safety plan. Tarnia, exactly. Yes, a safety officer named Billy Joe. Billy Joe was not in the courtroom yesterday. Shocker. She got her own taste of social media when she thought she was going to be the hero of this story, and everybody figured out real quick Leilani was supposed to never be alone with her children. Well, the older two anyway. Let's look at this.
In an undisclosed location outside of Chatham County and reminded the court that Simon has no felony history. But Judge Stokes wasn't convinced.
The court will deny bond based on the risk that she would commit a felony while on bond, and there's risk of flight as well.
Simon waived a formal reading of the charges against her, but her lawyers want to have murder charges thrown out. Her attorney said in a filing Monday the grand jury wasn't presented with enough information to make an informed decision. The next step is another motions hearing to learn whether or not this indictment will stand. We'll keep you posted on air and online with the latest. For now.
Yeah, keep us posted. Now, another issue that I'm having here.
Out of Chatham County.
Not that, of course, the back of her head. If you're going to be on TV, brush your hair, lady lawyer. Get your roots done. You see, even lie lazy, I can't get over it. Her hair looks like a Breck commercial from 1978. The prison water is doing great things for Leilani's hair, nothing else. But that sliver of soap and that prison county water is actually giving her some very lustrous locks. I mean, I give credit where credit's due. But then we have the attorney who knows she's on camera. She knows she has the most highly publicized case in Chatham County right now. Brush it. Get some foil put in that shit. What are you doing? Get your nails done, sausage fingers. My goodness. We don't get down like that around here. Then we get to Leilani.
Of Chatham County and remind.
Look at Leilani. Look at that glossy hair. The prison's doing good for her. She's a model prisoner. I'm going to call her a model prisoner. Her hair looks great. Look at that. That sliver of soap and that county water's doing great for her hair. Not her attorney. You know what the attorney, when she gets ready next time, have her stick her head under that prison water. That's what I would do. I'd shit twice and die if at the back of my head was being talked about with Brett Buffington in the background. Gotta be kidding me. Ooh, Tanya, thank you, is gifting Crime Lines and Lies memberships. Lone Wolf sent out some more memberships. Yes, we don't do that. There was some other woman who was pretending to be a journalist, I guess, in the press, part of the media, during the one of the press conferences for Idaho. And she had about 2 inches of gray, and then the rest of her head was like a weird red rust color. And I was like, no. Even if you got to go get a box, get a box. I think Revlon Color Silk, it's like $4 a box. Yeah, that's what you do. All right, now getting to it before I get back to Scotty. This situation with Stephen Smith. Wow. Okay, it is a homicide now. We're no longer investigating a hit and run. Not that there ever was one. First time I heard about Stephen Smith, it was about, I'd say about a year and a half ago. And first thing I heard about was really his mom. And that his mom didn't believe it was a hit and run. And you guys know I brag on here about Michaela Jones's mom and several other moms that just won't, they just don't believe what the authorities are telling them. I read the letter that his mom wrote to the FBI in 2016. It's not that she never believed it. She was told that he was murdered. She was told. She was told by the local authorities, just keep publicly saying it was a hit and run. We don't want the bad guys to know we're looking for him. They had to use putty. He was beaten so badly. To get him ready for burial, they had to use putty in his face to fill it out. Also, in the course of all of this, several people have come to Stephen's family and said, it's the solicitor's nephews. Randy Murdaugh's nephews, which would be Buster and Paul, that did this. I tell you what, Randy Murdaugh is doing everything he can to separate himself from all the dirtiness. In his $75,000 lawsuit that he has on Alec doesn't mean anything. These people at one time were filthy, filthy rich, okay? Him suing his brother for $75,000 is nothing. $75,000 to them is something that it's a slush fund. Yeah, here you go, Alec, there's $75,000. He forgets about it by lunch. But he's got this $75,000 lawsuit, and he thinks that separates him, and he's going to get the family name back. Then we have Buster earlier in the week that gives a statement the day they said they had the money to exhume Stephen, comes out with a woe is me, leave me alone, I had nothing to do with this. We were like, well, that's pretty interesting timing, isn't it? That's real interesting. You didn't say a thing when Netflix had all those people that know you on there saying that you're part of this. Really interesting statement made yesterday, I read. They said now, they didn't say why, but they said now they feel people will be more forthcoming than they felt in 2015 or 2021. Well, what's changed? Alec is in jail. Paul's dead. Buster's scared shitless. Some people say if they accuse Buster, if they arrest Buster, he has an unfair advantage because already his family is labeled as bad people. So whether he, if he didn't do it, they're going to automatically assume he did. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I know he won't have hair looking like Leilani's lawyer when he shows up. I know that. Let's look at this clip, and I'm going to just read part of the letter because we're going to do an entire show going through her letter. It's going to make you so mad. She knew he was murdered. This isn't a mother's inkling. She knew. Miranda, good girl. She said, I'm coloring my hair as we speak. You are now Leilani Simon's attorney, Miranda. Are you ready for the next hearing? If I was a juror and if I saw that bedhead, I'd vote guilty just because.
Investigation into Stephen Smith's 2015 death, receiving fresh law enforcement resources and bringing renewed hope to his family.
I've been wanting this for the last 8 years, and now it's happening.
The South Carolina Law Enforcement Division says progress has been made. The chief assigning additional agents to work this case in the hopes that those who may know what happened to Mr. Smith are more willing to speak freely now than they may have been in 2015 or 2021. According to police reports, 19-year-old Stephen Smith was found dead on a rural road, his shoes still on his feet. A short distance away, his abandoned car, the gas cap unscrewed, his wallet inside. At the time, the on-scene supervisor telling a detective it appeared to be a homicide. But the medical examiner ruled it a hit and run, a determination later challenged by investigators.
There's no marks from a vehicle, no skid marks in the roadway, nothing in the grass.
Police recordings also show the Murdaugh family name came up multiple times in interviews from 2015, including with Stephen's mother.
The rumors that's going around Hampton that everybody keeps coming up to me and saying it was Murdaugh boys.
The Murdaugh boys?
Yes, whoever they are.
Other individuals also mentioned the name Murdaugh during taped interviews.
And who was that?
Buster Murdaugh.
Okay. And I'll be honest with you, Buster Murdaugh's been on our radar long before this.
Buster Murdaugh,
All right. And there is Firecrotch Jr. right there on the screen. Now, that was such a scripted phone call between him and his meat stick gambling daddy. Jail phone call where he goes, Buster, you know that Stephen Smith thing? We have nothing to do with that. Buster goes, I could have told you that. You've got person after person after person after person that has said they did it. They did it. You hear an authority say, he's been on my radar for a long time. Now, it's heinous what Alec did. But we're talking about a different type of evil that just his classmate, someone he knows, supposedly Randy was his little league coach. Randy Murdaugh was a little league coach of Stevens. Beat him to death. Right there. He's been on my radar a long time.
And who was that?
Buster Murdaugh.
Okay. And I'll be honest with you, Buster Murdaugh's been on our radar long before this.
Buster Murdaugh, the surviving son of convicted killer Alec Murdaugh, says he had nothing to do with Smith's death and asked for privacy as he grieves the murders of his mother and brother. In a statement shared with NBC News earlier this week, Buster Murdaugh called the rumors he and Stephen had a relationship baseless and denied any involvement with his death, adding, "My heart goes out to the Smith family." Buster Murdaugh was never interviewed by police about the 2015 case.
Now, the attorney for Stephen Smith's mother, Eric Bland, says he plans to petition a judge for the exhumation of Smith's body and get an independent autopsy conducted. He also says the Murdaugh name yielded powerful influence and maybe intimidated potential witnesses. He's hoping that now they'll speak more freely about the truth. Craig?
All right, Katie Beckforce there in Columbia, South Carolina. Once again, Katie, thank you. Let's bring in NBC's senior legal correspondent, Laura Jarrett. Laura, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Craig.
8 years after the death of Stephen Smith, how hard is it to put together a murder investigation considering how much time has lapsed?
It's difficult, but it's not impossible. We can all think about cold cases that were solved decades after a killing took place. The real issue here is that so much attention has been focused on this case.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a Netflix documentary, there's an HBO documentary. It's very hard to control witnesses and their memories after so much time, especially when they've been out there talking about the case so much. You also just have to wonder how much of the evidence was preserved. We don't know enough about that. So is it impossible? No. Is it difficult? Absolutely.
We should point out once again that Buster Murdaugh has denied any involvement in the death of Stephen Smith. He was not questioned at the time. Any chance that Buster Murdaugh gets questioned this time by investigators?
Why would he want to have any connection to this at all? If he says he has nothing to do with it, they have no probable cause to believe that he has any involvement. He's completely denied it. I think it's really hard. This is all sort of based on rumor and innuendo. And even you can see in Katie's piece, the detectives are saying he's been on our radar. Why?
Right.
There's just no hard evidence. And without that, you can imagine Buster doesn't have a great relationship with authorities right now. They just managed to get a murder conviction against his dad. And so I don't see any incentive for him to come in and talk.
Well, he's not just going to come in and talk, you idiot. What are you, a fangirl? Were you at the auction yesterday? Cute purple dress and all. But doesn't work that way. There's not many people sitting in the hot seat that want to be there. Of course, they're going to do a heavy investigation. They reopened this when they were investigating the murders of Mags and Pawpaw. Not to disparage the dead, but if you look at their family photo, it looks like the cast of Fraggle Rock. It is the craziest thing. I mean, their smiles, their hair, it's like, are these Muppets? The hell is going on? Listen to her. Oh, it's going to be difficult. You're a correspondent. You're not a lawyer. You're not an investigator. What are you talking about? My God. Speaking of the auction, as we talked about the other day, woo. Wow. It was a hit. Oh, man, guys. Now, I was going through the pictures, not going to lie. The only thing from the auction that I would have been interested in was this fan. Wow, if this doesn't take me back. You get one of these fans, you will never have to buy another one. General Electric. These are the type of fans that, well, I mean, if you stuck your finger in it, you were down a finger, or you knew what your own bone looked like. These are amazing fans. Whoever got this fan, I'm very jealous of, okay? That's great. They were buying their socks, their clothes, a dartboard that had Buster's name on it for like $500. There was a TV tray with vibrators on it. I had to look a couple of times. I was like, is that what I think it is? I'm going to have I have a feeling that John Marvin did the inventory and took his wife's word for it and believed they were back massagers. Because only John Marvin would have thought that that's what that was. But yeah, $31,000 for the leather living room suit. This is the guy that bought it. Yeah. The TV tray full of dildos, I could have died. I could have died on that one. I was like, really? Like I said, only John Marvin thought that was harmless to put in there. My wife's got like 10 of those because she's got bunions on her feet. I could just see it. Yeah, I could just see it. It's a mess. It's a mess and a half. Now, I heard that the money goes to pay off the victims of like the financial crimes. I don't know. But then I also heard the money goes to Buster. Again, we have conflicting stories. Definitely. Rendy said, but those crime-obsessed folks who are into owning stuff from murder scenes or belongings of those who kill will pay big on eBay. Prepare to see listings. Uh-huh. You're exactly right, Rendy. Give it about a month. My guess is the first thing to be sold on eBay is going to be the monogrammed pillows. Anything that has Murdaugh on it or one of their names, top dollar. The turtle lamps, didn't those go for like $1,000 a piece or something like that? It could have been like 8 to 10,000. Now, I don't know about the vibrators, how much those are going to go for on eBay because they weren't autographed or anything. Mermaid wants to know if they were used. Well, they don't let you smell them, Mermaid. They were in like Ziploc bags and stuff. Maybe they'll, maybe somebody bought them. We can find out. It's a crazy deal, man. I just can't believe it. The $31,000 for the leather couch and everything. I'm like, are you going to eBay that? I don't know. The whole thing's crazy. All right, I'm going to go through part of this letter because we're going to do an entire show about this stuff with Stephen Smith because there's tons and tons and tons of stuff coming out that it's like everybody in this community already knew. So when people are saying, oh, his mom just had a feeling, which if she did, she did. She had more than a feeling. She was told. Look at this with me. All right, she wrote this to the FBI. They blacked out the FBI's address. I don't need it because I'm not going to write them a letter. September 28th, 2016. So it makes me mad that the FBI was aware of this and didn't. Hopefully they sent this letter to SLED, but I don't know. More's going to come out. Jules said they knew for years. The whole town knew. This was not a secret. She says, my family is in desperate need of your help. My 19-year-old son, Stephen Nicholas Smith, was murdered on July 8, 2015 in Hampton County, South Carolina. It has been apparent from the first week of this investigation that authorities were covering up critical evidence, and we no longer know who to trust. Stephen's father and I were told that our son was shot to death after running out of gas in the early hours of the morning and exiting his vehicle. Shot? Later that day, we were told it was a hit and run. Finally, investigators determined he was beaten to death. He was attacked so violently that the entire side of his face was rebuilt with putty for his funeral. Hampton investigators asked us at that time to continue to publicly say it was a hit and run. They claimed they didn't want the killer to know they were looking for him. There have been no named suspects. This is crazy. The first call my family received after the murder was from authorities notifying us of Stephen's death. The second came very quickly the same morning from solicitor Randolph Murdaugh. In fact, he called my ex-husband's cell phone as we waited in the police station for a positive identification. He said he heard of the case and was interested in working pro bono as a liaison between the family and investigators. Stephen's father accepted the offer, although we were unsure why Mr. Murdaugh wanted to help us. We also weren't sure how he found out so quickly, even before it was confirmed to be our son. Surprisingly, after just a few interactions, Mr. Murdaugh stopped returning our calls. I think he stopped returning their calls when he was assured it's a hit and run. Don't worry about it. That's just my guess. Within days of our son's death, Stephen's twin sister Stephanie was approached multiple times by peers telling her that solicitor Murdaugh's nephews were responsible. As a family, it was suspicious to us since he had taken such an immediate interest in the case and then became unreachable so quickly. These suspicions reached new heights weeks later when Stephen's older brother, Chris, was approached at work by a young man he did not know. This person told Chris he was present when Stephen was murdered and witnessed everything firsthand. He said that solicitor Murdaugh's nephew, Buster Murdaugh, who graduated with Stephen, beat Stephen to death with a baseball bat. He claimed it was because Stephen was gay. She says Stephen was in fact gay. The witness said they were smashing mailboxes when they came upon Stephen, and Buster seized the opportunity. The young man told Chris that Buster threatened to kill him if he ever spoke up. This information was given to investigators, but nothing has come of it. This goes on and on and on. This is horrible. Glenjamin, exactly. What's his name? He's not named in this letter. If I figured there would be something redacted, like his name. I guess this guy just came upon Stephen's brother, Chris, and didn't give his name. Several people knew. I cannot freaking believe it. And it was announced this week that, yeah, it is definitely a homicide investigation. It also came out that after they came across Stephen, well, let's look at this. Because I don't want to say it out loud.
now, but you've been on the job as an investigator for decades. And I couldn't understand for a moment why I heard on a hit and run or even a suspected hit and run, within 13 hours, a rape kit would have been ordered. Have you?
Why on earth did they order a R kit? What exactly did they come across that had them do that? Lala says Beigefield got her beige on. She does. She loves earth tones. She does her best work in shoulder pads and earth tones. An R kit? Uh-huh. They saw something. He could not have been. He might have had his shoes on. He might have had his shoes on, but something else wasn't covered up. That's all I'm going to say.
In your line of work, doing this kind of high-level investigation, ever seen anything like that?
When it comes to traffic accidents, never. This was the very first time. I did not have an understanding of why it was being ordered. We were not notified until later that it had been ordered. So no, I have no answers for you for why they would order a rape kit for what would be suspected as a hit and run, which it wasn't, but I would never understand that.
And the rape kit was ordered within 13 hours of the discovery of Stephen's body. Yet in that same time frame, if anybody thought this was anything other than a run-of-the-mill hit and run, you would have been called in with the MATE team. Correct. To do further investigation. And yet you were called off and a rape kit was called in. Does that square at all?
No, ma'am, it does not. I was puzzled and confused from start to when we actually got to finally pick up the case, why we weren't given the opportunity to, be a part of it from the beginning.
Was MATE and your team, or even the South Carolina, highway patrollers, were they ever given any information on what the rape kit yielded or where it ended up?
I know it ended up with SLED, but we were never given any information of the results, or I was not until I retired. Now, they may have an answer now, but as of 2018, we were never given any information of what the results pending, whether it was negative or anything of that nature.
Well, I have a guest coming up who thinks he might have some resolution to that, and it's very distressing, to say the very least. I have other questions I want to ask you about that are equally distressing, and they involve the Murdaugh family as relates to this accident. Stephen Smith's father, who's no longer with us, I believe he died about a year after Stephen Smith was killed. Stephen Smith's father called you and had a specific question about Randy Murdaugh. What was the question?
So it was within a very short period of time that Stephen's father had contacted me and asked me about the law firm contacting him about retaining their services. He was really concerned why they would be calling and wanted my advice. Unfortunately, my rule is, or our rule is investigators and the police, we do not give legal advice. I told him what I thought, and he basically kind of said in short terms that he was not going to do anything at this point. But it was very unusual to me that within a very short period of time, he was contacted.
And then Sandy Smith had reported that they, meaning Randy, had offered free legal representation to that family within 72 hours of Stephen Smith's body being found in the road. And they didn't have a connection to Murdaugh's. They didn't even know what the resolution was yet. They didn't know if it was a hit and run, a murder, and yet a lawyer shows up on their door offering the free legal advice. There was another moment I want to ask you about. Sandy reported that she saw Alex Murdaugh and Alex's brother Randy at the actual scene of where Stephen's body was found as she was driving to the funeral home, would there be any reason at all for two lawyers like the Murdaughs, Alex and Randy, to be at the scene of where Stephen was found dead within such a short period of time?
In my opinion, no. Not if they were not involved in.
That's what I said when I read, well, way before all of this, that Alec and his brother Randy went to the scene of the scene. I'll just say the scene. I was like, that makes zero sense. And when I said it on here last week, I believe, and I had like 3 or 4 people in all caps, of course, got to have the all caps put in there because they're personal injury attorneys. No, there's more to it. And they were there too fast. No, that makes zero sense. None.
Anyway, in my opinion, I could not answer why they would be there.
Can I ask you one other question? I don't know if you know this because a lot of time has passed. It's almost 8 years since Stephen was killed. But this was never a closed case. It was always a cold case. It's now heating up. And one of the reasons that it's heating up is that the investigation into Paul and Maggie's death yielded something. And it's a mystery to everyone. A, do you know? And B, do you hear anything about that?
There is something that there are rumors flying out there that I will not get into. But yes, they are. They could be true. There could not be true. But yes, there is something that apparently that has been heard, said, or found that are rumors that are the reason why it's heating up or did heat up.
Thank you for watching. Go to new.
Horrible. I hope his mother winds up owning the town. I would want the law firm named after my son. 8 years of people covering up and keeping this secret. Why? Money, yeah. Influence. You don't want to tangle with the people at the Capitol. It's horrible. And I'm going to post the letter in the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group. It's already in the Discord. It is just horrible. And it could turn out that Buster's crime is worse than all of them. I know it doesn't make any sense. You can't really compare. Just I know a lot of eyebrows were raised on Monday when he came out with his statement. And this is right on the heels of Stephen's mama saying, we've met our goal. We can have him exhumed. We can have an independent autopsy now. Not that shit sandwich that they served us back in 2015. We can have an independent autopsy. Then he comes out of the chute. Leave me alone. Tired of being dragged in the media. I'm trying to grieve my mom and my brother, Pawpaw. It's like, I'm sure you are. You got a lot of grieving. The girlfriend that filed the police report, be prepared to jump ship, girlfriend. Be prepared. Be prepared. Because this is not going to be fun for her. I'm surprised she's had it this easy. People are so focused, laser focused on Buster. Insane. The whole thing is absolutely insane. All right, as far as what's been going on this week with Summer Wells, it's just more nastiness. It is. Nothing with the case, of course. We haven't had an update in, well, almost 2 years, if you really want to know the truth. Candace blushing and gushing to Ernie the other day. We'll do a recap on that because some people didn't see it. I still want to know why Dawn puts up with that. And people say, well, it's because they're in on it about summer together. Well, what about before? What about before? When he left Utah in October of 2020 and came to his own home in October of 2020, he said Candace was playing games with him. And he comes across Jose in his house. And of course they get into it. And he stuck around for all of that. So what is it? It's never settled with me. The trip from New York, Andrew Hiltz, Jose, the whole crew, and then the quick turnaround to go back to New York. Just something about that's always been weird. But we won't know till we know. That's for sure. That is for sure. Now, I know Dawn and Candace have a hearing coming up in May. And that's about it. I've had Andrew Hiltz on this show several times before. He won't come back because the last time he was on here, I said, no, you're not going to fundraise on my channel. And you don't know anything. You couldn't know anything. You had to be told like everybody else that Summer was missing. What exactly do you know? Are you even Hunter's dad? Who would know? Who would know? Just watch Candace when freaking Ernie comes on. Don't worry about the t-shirt or any of the other stuff.
Yeah, it's insinuating. Is that Ernie?
Yeah, that's Ernie.
Yeah, that's Ernie. Okay, come up, Ernie, if you want to.
Yeah, he needs to come up and say hi, the old stranger.
Get up here, Ernie.
Everybody's saying that you ditched me the other day when you come up here, which I know Ernie's in and out all the time. So Ernie don't know.
Yeah, he ditches everybody.
He does. Trying to call him for weeks. Freaking won't even answer his phone.
I know. Ernie's just Ernie.
Unless he wants to be mean to me. That'll send me a message.
But yeah, I mean, he's more than welcome. Don B, if you want to come up here and you got things to say, well, you need to come up here and apologize to Candace. This is your chance to make things right. There's Ernie now.
I'd like to talk to
Ernie. Hey.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Pretty good.
Well,
do you remember me, Ernie?
I do remember you.
Okay.
And there it is. The minute she hears his voice, she pops her face right in the camera. Oh my goodness. And like I said, Dawn sees all this. By now, Dawn knows. That while he was in the clink in county, because he's such a smooth criminal, he got put in for a violation of probation. That stuff is looked the other way on all the time. They're like, come on, man. We don't want to lock you up. Just don't let it happen again. They could have treated it as a normal DUI and just not lumped the other in. But they're so sick of them. But I think there's a million things they could put Candace in jail for. But that's just me. I don't know what they have on their end. I really don't. Look at that, though. Look at that face and listen to what he says to her.
Okay.
We got lips up here.
Okay.
Hey, stranger. How you doing? I'm doing all right. How you doing? Oh my God, is that Candace?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Candace, you looking pretty good today. I'm trying my best.
Her
That's
hair's
good.
all long and stuff.
She's doing good, Ernie. She's doing real
Looks
good.
like straight and dried up and got you a headphone set on. Lord.
You got your headphones set on? straightened right up. You got your headphones set on, and look at her. Then she expands the camera so he can get a good drink of that. You've got to be kidding me. Got to be kidding me. And again, I said it yesterday. I'll say it again today. She is a suspect. Make no bones about it. She is a suspect. 100%. I understand some people want to play word checkers with me and say, but they've never officially named her a suspect. Who you think they're talking about? They took her phone. They took Dawn's. They took Grandis's. And they took Hunter's. They also told Hunter and Allie not to have any communication with Candace. Now, I understand that Andrew Hiltz has a different version of events, but he didn't even know Summer was missing, so he wouldn't know. If she's not a suspect, then what would she be? That is crazy. That is crazy. I know several people reached out to TBI in Hawkins County. Probably wasn't any need for it, but they did, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine, just to let them know that there's, word on the YouTube streets to give tips to Candace. I was like, what? Why would you give tips to Candace? The TBI still she's not cooperating, last we heard. They still want to know her timeline. They can't figure out what this idiot had going on all day. We don't even know when Summer went missing, but give her a tip? She's so stupid. She would probably argue with whoever gave her a tip. No, it didn't happen like that. I could just imagine. Nuts. The whole thing is nuts and has nothing to do with Summer. Has nothing to do with Summer. Just trying to stay relevant. That's what they're trying to do. Michelle said, oh yeah, she's a suspect. Of course she is. Of course she is. The last person to see Summer, the one that took her out that day, made sure she had Hunter with her, made up those kind of crazy series of lies throughout the day. Said, well, I can't tell time when I'm having fun, so I don't look at the time. I just don't look at the time. Changed her story. Can't tell you what Summer had on. They took, like I said, they took her phone. They took all the electronics from the house. They didn't take anybody else's shit. People say, well, she wouldn't let them search the house. She didn't have a choice. On the 911 dispatch, it said, search the house, even if the parents say they have. Goofy David Dodson, you remember the flute player, when he did that magnificent interview from the putt-putt course, he said he was getting the boys out of there so they don't have to look at searchers and stuff because they were searching their land. Snow said, I want to know why she left the house twice. I have my own theory on that. But I'd have to come right out and say something that YouTube may not like. Yeah, I don't celebrate her by any stretch of the imagination. Now, back to Scotty before I end it. All right, so this is going around, and you can look it up. It's public record. Not doxing anybody, not trying to make anybody feel bad, but Scotty is missing. They have looked all over the town. And we go back. His mother has charges, Class D felony. This is from April of 2007. It was decided in 2008. Neglect of a dependent. 3 counts. You see 3 different case numbers. 835, 084, 082. Then I go to one media outlet that says the neighbor's doorbell cam around 8:30 on the day he vanished. Okay. The neighbor We haven't heard from the neighbor, and we know how social media works. Then we hear video from his family's home security camera showed Morris walking away from his house. I mean, is it both? So I would love to have some clarification on that. I really wish they would get the sister off of social media. I don't know if you can. I don't do TikTok. Can you verify a TikTok account and see if it's really that person? I don't know, because a lot of people are saying, well, if it's TikTok, it's probably not her, but I don't know. I don't know how that works. Me and Britt have been going back and forth about this. I'm sorry, but if there was actual evidence of video, I feel like we would have seen that for a better idea of how what he may appear like. I was thinking that too. And a lot of times they won't release a full video unless someone has a limp or something like that. But you'll get a still shot. So that way, well, people aren't blowing up the phones and Eaton police their Facebook page saying, do you really have this video? 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 They're like, yes, here's a still shot from it, and that's it. So I don't know. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Just because it's not on the internet doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I would just like to know, because there's a big difference in 15 minutes and a big question mark. When was he last seen? When was he last seen? I'm not looking for evidence. I'm not looking for any evidence or anything like that. Just a still shot saying, this is the last time we saw him. People are looking for him. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Let's look at this. This is from the vigil.
This evening for that Delaware County teen who has now been missing for a week. Our Rachel Krause is in Eaton tonight, where loved ones are hoping and praying for Scotty Morris's safe return.
Inside Grace and Mercy. The town of Eaton is praying
to you, Lord God, that you are going to light the way to find Scotty, God.
Asking God to bring Scotty Morris home.
As they light that candle, Lord God, they're looking to you. This is about Scotty. Let's bring this child home.
Gone now for a week.
Some nights I just can't believe it, I really do miss him.
Just 14 years old, Scotty's family praying he's safe.
They are, like I said, of course, devastated, hurt, scared, very afraid.
It's the same prayer on the community's lips.
We're just here to support them and let Scotty know we're here. We love him.
And I've never, ever seen anything like this. Seeing the support here in the town, though, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Here for Scotty, here for his family.
So tonight we stand together.
Hoping somewhere Scotty's listening.
We are going to find Scotty. We're going to stand upon your word.
I just wanted to stand here with him because it feels like a part of me is missing since he's gone.
That the enemy has to release him and let him go.
And while the sunlight in Eaton fades, hope never does.
We don't know, where Scotty is, but I'm believing and we're having faith that Scotty will see all of this tonight and see the love and the light and the community wanting him back. His family is devastated. Scotty, your mom and dad love you. Whatever happened, it's okay.
Love you, Scotty. Lead Scotty home. Thank you. The town hopeful that prayer reaches Scotty. That their words can help bring him home. In Eaton, Rachel Krause, 13 News.
Horrible. Horrible. He didn't have access to computer, iPad, phones, anything like that that we know of. I know his phone was taken from him several months ago, according to a nice woman who was on here, and she was part of the search party, and that's what she was told. It's not like he would have had his phone with him. Plus, he just had on shorts and a t-shirt. He did not take that backpack with him, is what we're being told. So if the Ring camera exists and he was well and good at 8:30, at least it would tell people in the town what general direction he was going. But it's been a week now. I mean, I guess at this point, what does it matter? Oksana said, I don't think he had access to online stuff, so I don't think he met up with anyone to get out of town. He's probably nearby. Boy, I hope. I hope. I mean, it's horrible. Horrible. Of course, a lot of people are bringing up Harley Dilly, so I hope they're looking in chimneys. I hope they're scouring these abandoned homes. Because how far can he get with no money, no phone, no food, no water? It's no secret around there that he's missing. They know to check airlines, bus stations, talk to, all that. They know. It's just, oh, I just can't imagine. I mean, he reminds me of my son. Maybe that's why it's hitting me, given I have a different feel, He reminds me of my son at 14. I don't know, Jen. Jen said, what is so bad that your phone is taken for months? I don't know. And also, we're talking about cold, cold nights. I don't know, guys. It's horrible. So I'm putting together another show for Scotty. We'll probably do it tomorrow morning or Sunday morning. We have a members live next week to celebrate all of the March birthdays. And other than that, that's all I got. That's what I got. But you guys are awesome. Can't imagine a better group of friends. I really couldn't. I look around here and there and I'm like, not for me. I wouldn't hang there. No way. Don't need to. We have each other. So I'll see you guys back here. I'll see you in Discord. I'll see you in one of the Facebook groups. And if not, I'll catch you sometime over the weekend. So you guys have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend, and I will see you. You guys I mean it every day. You're the best.